Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for London Clubs Carnage. You guys, you absolutely love the show. You was missing Tobs last week. You were saying, yo, where is he? Why is he not here? I said, guys, listen, do you know what I mean? Tobs is a busy man, but we got him back this week. It's a pleasure as well. Listen, Dan Lawless has got his camera finally sorted. You're not getting the glow today, but you're getting to see him on screen. You should be very happy, people. You're very fortunate. Dan, how you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, like you said, didn't get time to do the fancy background lighting, but you can see me here in 1080p with my camera, nice shallow depth of field going on. But yeah, obviously we're not here to talk about cameras, are we? Unfortunately, we're talking about football today, so that's something I've got to look forward to.
I can't wait to get to your segment. I really can't. Pots, how you doing, bro? You guys are really starting to piss me off. What is going on?
Yeah, I think we're annoying everybody, if I'm honest. It seems that everyone's having a meltdown by Arsenal fans, which is mad. That's quite rare, man. But Happy New Year to you all. It has been a Happy New Year for me. I can't lie. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day was a pleasant one for me. And it turns out everybody's shit but Arsenal. It's brilliant. I love it. Long may it continue.
I've never seen Potts coming into the group chat with such chest like he did this weekend. It's mad. Tobs, how are you doing, bro? Good to see you again. How are you feeling? Bad weekend for everyone, man.
Terrible. But the show must go on. So
you're a broken man. You're a broken man. I am a broken man. I went into the studio today. Abby's broken. I'm broken. Don Robbie is there smiling away. Do you know what I mean, brother? It's been long for everyone, but I think there's no better way to start. Put a smile on everybody's face. Happy New Year to all the viewers, of course. Brentford. We don't talk about Brentford on this show. They're a London club. We don't talk about them. They don't get their shine. Same with Fulham. You have to earn your stripes to get on the show. But today is a day where I want to take a little time out to say thank you to Brentford, because I was saying it on the Big Six. You know, Grizz was talking about 10-game unbeaten run. Football is a humbler and all that. And he left the stadium early, Tobs. How satisfying is that?
He
left the stadium early.
Wow.
It's already public information. That's why I'm saying it.
When it was me, I'll pitchforks out as if, and everyone pretending, every single fan who actually went to games were pretending that they've never left the game early before, which is bullshit. I know it's absolute bullshit. And Lawless will lie and say he's never done it. Bullshit.
I've never left the game
early. You're lying.
Potts will lie and say he's never left the game early. Bullshit. And then the only other guys who are saying it are armchair fans who are stuck to their sofas and telling me, how dare you leave at half time? How dare you leave at half time?
I've left the game 2 minutes early to go do fan camps.
You've left your game. You've left, bruv. You're a West Ham fan. You've definitely left games early.
No, I'm the sort of fan, like, when we're getting battered, I feel like I have to subject myself to it. It's almost like a car crash. I just have to see it.
Let's just be real.
I've
Matisse,
you have left when we're losing 5-0 to the end, mate.
Not as 5-0. Not as early as you. The earliest I've ever left a game is 80th minute, and that's because I knew the trains were gonna get backed up, and I was like, "Yo, you know when you know, you know when you know, you don't want to make your day worse. Like, it's already bad enough watching your team play like crap. I think we were like 3-0 down or something. It was like Man City or something. Like, it was one of them.
Would you ever leave at the 44th minute? Would anyone ever leave?
No, never. That's too early. That is really early. To be fair,
would you ever leave at the 44th minute if you were 3-0 down to Spurs at home?
No, because I'd want to stay and give the players abuse. I can't lie. I'd rather shout.
That makes it better, doesn't it?
Brother, I'm not gonna. No, I don't give a damn, man. I know it's not gonna make it better, but brother, I'm one of them people that will stay and just start.
Newcastle were 4-0 down to Arsenal. Imagine if they would have all left. 4-4.
I would have just been cussing and swearing. Because
that's Newcastle v Arsenal. I've stayed for. My issue isn't getting battered. My issue is getting battered. You're 3-0 down in 34 minutes in the North London derby. I couldn't care less. I've been in grounds where we've lost 3-0 to West Ham. I've been in grounds where we've lost 5-0 to Liverpool. I've been in grounds where we've lost. Who was it? I'm trying to remember. Which one was
Man City 5-1.
Man City 5-1. Like, I've seen Spurs take batterings from a variety of teams. Right, that's not the issue.
Yeah,
a game of that magnitude, it's criminal that you can be 3-0 down.
Do you know what's really mad, since your twin brother started doing DR, is when I'm now listening to you talk, I'm also thinking about how your twin brother's reacting to all this. And he's just like, I've seen his clips on DR. This guy is smiling away, like Dan Potts is, like Turkish. Turkish is tweeting. Turkish is in all my live chats, typing away. Oh, this is just. I really can't stand this Arsenal situation.
It took me because I watched because Nicky was on it, and I had to check this Moyes situation. And I checked
he
it.
gave
It took
us
me a
an
little while to
exclusive.
realize it weren't Tobs. I was like, Tobs is sounding a bit chill today. Like, what's going on? Like, he seems kind of
Tobs is
cool.
happy.
Did you see?
And then I just clocked. I thought, wait a minute, he's got hair. Like, what's going on? Like, I was like, I clocked. Oh, but
Did you see Nicky gave an
you can
exclusive
tell.
on
You can tell.
David Moyes as well.
like I said, he seems like another cool Arsenal fan. There's not many of them, I know, but
he's believing. He's saying that the job could be getting done. And do you know what? I think a lot of people. I won't speak for Tobs. We'll see what he says about it. But for me, and I saw obviously Turkish now as well. Potts, the way you came into the group chat, I'm just thinking that this weekend, people, for me, was the first time where I'm like, shit. Like, I wasn't worried before this. I've just been like, okay, cool. You're having your good day out. You're having fun. You'll be up there for now. Elephant on top of the tree metaphor. But it's Man City. Man City dropping points and looking as abject as they do at times. That's what's actually really worrying me now. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, But we have to give homage to Brentford. Everybody watched Brentford today.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Wow. No Ivan Toney. I mean, because that's going to segue beautifully for you, Lawless, because you know all about Brentford. Mad.
Doesn't he just?
Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling? You lost to a
that was a
worse
beautiful
team.
transition. That's
Doesn't he just? Doesn't he just?
No reason to smile.
Do you know what though?
Doesn't he just?
Just quickly before we do go into Lawless, because he is going to get it. Grizz, right? Last night was very cocky on Big Six. I watched Big Six, right? And I was very cocky. He was very, and I was thinking, don't get to. You were shit against Leicester, right?
Bro,
so
shit.
Keep
right?
going.
So cocky. And I will say this to Grizz because I know him well, right? And I will say that when I'm on with him next. I couldn't believe how much front it was. And I'm like, you better hope you beat Brentford. And they got battered. They were shocking. Every single set piece that literally went in their goal. It's so bad how bad they are at the moment. And I was like, just like laugh, but don't get too cocky. And he was liking it a bit too much last night. So he needs a humbling like that. So what does he call it?
Football is a humbler.
There you go.
Humbler.
There we go. Sorry, go on. Continue, Matisse and Lawless, because I want to know what Lawless thinks of the amazing Brentford.
I mean,
and they are, and this is the thing. This is why Tobes can't smile at me, right? Because Brentford are amazing. They're above Aston Villa. Yeah,
they're above us.
Why do I care that they're above Aston Villa? You'd said
because you lost to a worse team than us.
I don't care who we lost to. The same Brentford, they were 2-0 up against us, and we left that ground with a point. Their ground, you lost at home in a you lost at home in a 6-pointer, bro.
The mighty Spurs.
You lost at home in a 6-pointer, and you're talking about Spurs. You're literally in the relegation fight.
Look at this guy, the mighty
Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest can get a point
against
against Chelsea. Nottingham Forest can get a point against Chelsea, but you can't beat Brentford at home.
Listen,
who can you beat? Genuinely, who can you beat?
Well, look, but you couldn't beat us, could you? Everyone can beat us, but you.
But where are you? But you're fighting relegation, and you're fighting relegation. You're trying to do tit for tat with me.
No, because you. This week, yeah. Let's just talk about this weekend's fixtures, yeah.
Go on.
You can't smile in the context of this weekend.
I'm smiling at your result. Yeah, I'm not smiling at Spurs' fortunes. Trust me, believe you me. I know we're dusted. But we're dusted relative to being a competitive side and potentially finishing outside the top four. You are legitimately fighting relegation. You're fighting relegation. You might not be in the league next year.
All right, but here's the difference, right?
Honestly, bro, we're in January now, so it's no longer banter. Like, you genuinely might not. The thing is, you have a squad that's more than capable of finishing even mid-table, top 10, top half. In fact, it's bare minimum. You should be finishing in the top 10, and you're genuinely at risk of being in a relegation fight. Okay. Do you not think that's scary? And you're telling me why am I smiling?
He is scared.
But you're focusing on me smiling at you dropping points.
He is scared because
he's got bigger things to worry about.
Can I tell you the difference?
You're quoted saying that you could get relegated under Moyes. You said that, didn't you?
I did say that, yes. But here's the upside, right? Here's where we've got a little bit of shine, you know, where the sun can come up for us and not Spurs, right? Because for me, from my perspective, you know, Moyes will get sacked. Keep being shit. We get sacked and hopefully get a better manager in. For Spurs, this was it. This getting Conte was the pinnacle. They've got this manager, this winner. This not like Jose, who was winning years ago. This guy, and this is along the lines of what Spurs fans have said and Tobs, he's winning now. Like he's winning currently. And if this doesn't work out, where do they go from here?
I agree.
I feel like we can go up. I feel like you're finished. I feel like you're done. I feel like
but even a finished iteration of us will still finish above you.
That's what you think, but you didn't finish
No,
above us.
it's not what I think. It's what I know because it's what I know because we've been mudded for the last I think we've been mudded for like the last 4 years, and in that period you finished above us once, and in that period you've also been fighting. You've also fought relegation once as well. So that's why I'm like, okay, cool, fair enough. Yeah, you're right. If Conte does leave or walk or get sacked or whatever, yeah, like there's not really any hiding place for our owners, and it's more like, what's next? We don't really know what's next, but you are not competitive in any shape or form. Literally, you're not competitive.
Are you saying, Lawless, that your future is brighter than Spurs?
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
That's a big reach for you to say that. Massive reach.
I'm not necessarily saying that.
No, that's exactly what
that's
he's
exactly
saying.
what
And now he's going to backtrack.
Yes, you
that's
are.
a
Man.
big
You
reach.
No.
He said Moyes gets sacked and we can get better. Spurs will lose Conte. That's it for them. They're finished. And I'm saying to you that even if you believe that we're finished, yeah, a finished iteration of Spurs will still do more than West Ham. So what is going up for you? Where do you think you can go with the teams with the teams in this situation? So you the same situation that you've put in front of Spurs about how United are improving, Liverpool are improving, Chelsea are throwing money at it, Arsenal are flying, etc., etc. Now put yourself into the equation, and where do you fit into all of this? Genuine question. Where do you fit into all of this? These teams are going one way. Where do you fit into this equation?
Well, obviously, look, once Moyes is gone, this season, it depends on how soon we get rid of him. This season could be a write-off. I'll hold my hands up. Yeah, this season, best we might be able to hope for is a mid-table, right? But next season, if we get the manager, we already have the players there. Let's say Rice goes, right? I'm not that concerned. If we get the money and you give it to a competent manager who knows how to spend that money, imagine, say 100 mil, even 80 mil, whatever we end up getting, right? Oh, with the players we already have, he can spend that money to improve those other positions. Then, you know what I mean? Then we're talking. Then we're going places.
Yeah, but Spurs, you're skirting around my question. I said, where do you fit into the equation of the top six sides, the teams that are back? And oh my God, even Newcastle in the mix. Newcastle are currently in third and have more money than you, more resources than you, and at the moment have a better coach than you. So these teams are going up. Where do you fit into this equation?
But are they going?
If Spurs are finished, what the hell are West Ham? Even with
let's take Spurs out of the six. Yeah, let's take Spurs out.
Even if you take Spurs out of the six, where are West Ham? Where are West Ham in this? You're nowhere.
You know what? I was watching you because you're zoomed in. Your head is really close to the camera.
Where are West Ham in
you
this?
tried to say not necessarily with Newcastle. Don't even try it.
Where are West Ham in this? Because
Newcastle are on an upward trajectory, and you know that. Don't try and lie.
Potts, and what's mad is he's saying we're finished. We can still get into the top four, albeit I don't have the confidence that we will.
No, don't you dare try do that, yeah? Ooh. On Potts' show last week, I said with my chest, you ain't getting top four, and you was all like outraged.
That's fine. You can say what you want, but it is still mathematically possible for Spurs to finish in the top four.
It's mathematically possible for us. What are you talking about?
No, it isn't. You're 16 points behind Spurs.
You know maths.
What are you talking about?
Do you know maths? Do you know
you are 16 points behind us, and we're
But you know what mathematically possible means?
Listen, this weekend has been a humbler. It has been a humbler. I'm in a similar ballpark.
You're crazy, man.
I'm in a similar.
I'm not saying it is likely. You said
mathematically, yeah, technically.
I said we
Honestly,
could still get there because
Yeah,
we're 2 points behind Man United, and we have a squad we have a squad that can get into the top 4. We have a squad that's capable of finishing the top 4. You don't. You don't have a squad capable of finishing in the top 4. You don't have a manager capable of finishing in the top 4, and you're 16 points behind. How can you compare the two?
You say that, yeah, but we came so close to finishing in the top 4 the previous 2 seasons.
You're 16 points behind.
I know. I'm not saying we can finish top 4 this season.
What are you saying here?
What I'm saying is you ain't getting it. Like you ain't finishing.
Even if you, Lawless, I actually, you know what? I actually agree with you. Unless Spurs sign new players, right? And even then, it doesn't matter if you just sign new players. They have to be players of a specific caliber. They have to be good players that can come into the 11. Unless Spurs sign good players, I don't think we are going to get top 4.
So are you willing to say that? Say, look, Lawless, on the 12th Man podcast last week, you was right and I was right.
No, because it's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's not about you being
now
right.
Who's deluded with a capital D? Now who's deluded with a capital D?
I'm not deluded.
Let's just give it. It's not happening.
Even if it's not happening,
I think there has been a mindset
West Ham,
change.
and yet again, you keep involving West Ham into this business at the higher end.
We're in West Ham.
You thought, first of all, what did he say? First, when we were laughing at Brentford, he goes, "Oh, don't smile. You can't smile." And I said, "Why can't I smile? You lost to Brentford at home, the same Brentford that were 2-0 up against Spurs at their ground, and they still couldn't beat us. So why can't I smile?"
You know what? Brentford away against Brentford, and you're supposed to.
I'm not celebrating. I'm not celebrating anything. Where did I celebrate that? I wasn't happy with that performance. But that's the difference.
You know what?
I'm disappointed at getting a draw at their ground.
Show to Big 5 plus Spurs. That's what he needs to change the name to. Big 5 and Spurs. Because come on, you can't. You're talking about celebrating points against
and the relegation fodder should change their name to relegation fodder plus West Ham. That's cool.
because Brentford beat Liverpool, and it was a very impressive display with no Ivan Toney, right? And dominated both halves. They had chances. They had more chances than Liverpool. They missed chances. Alisson made a 1v1 save, shot over the bar, disallowed goal, all this stuff. And because they beat Manchester City at the Etihad, and because I checked last season what we did against them, and we've actually lost 4-1 to them at home, and they drew with us as well, I think this season 0-0, and they drew with Tottenham. All of that accumulation, top 6, the only team that's beaten them comprehensively was Arsenal. And Thomas Frank has been saying their top 6 record is ridiculous, and he's not sure how it's coming to fruition. So that's where Lawless is clinging on to. He's like, listen, if Brentford are beating all these top teams, then our defeat over the weekend to them surely can't be that bad. Is that is that the narrative you're trying to create?
All right, right, okay. Well, I need to reconcile the two sides of me here. There's the side,
the shameless side,
West Ham Fan TV, right? I will never argue that. But the point is, this is just banter side. Like, look, for me to come out and say it's ridiculous, no excuses, I'm correcting that. What I am also trying to say is you can't banter me like that if you're Spurs and you lost to Villa this weekend. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the banter
I get that.
coming down a bit.
So you're
because of the context.
So your defeat over the weekend, right?
Matisse can't banter you as well because he drew to Nottingham Forest, right?
Yeah, I feel like Matisse is
fair enough.
Well, is in a precarious situation.
I think everybody's just flinging shit at each other, to be honest, and that's kind of the predicament.
That's fair game.
Everybody's underachieving.
When you're sat in 16th, you have to take any form of punishment. 170 million spent, and you're sat in 16th. You have to take punishment. The same way Matisse's Chelsea are taking beating from all sides, because they spent 280 million and they're 9th.
Yeah.
Difference is you two still believe in your managers. You two back your managers.
My manager's new. My manager's very new.
Yeah. And my manager isn't getting his centre back and right back. So wait. You have a unique ability to do that, to try and shift the subject, change the subject. Right?
Yes.
We've got you boxed in now. There's no hiding place for you. You spent 170 million and you're fucking.
He's yet 16th. to talk about. He's yet to talk about the performance.
In fact, no, you're 17th. Sorry, you're 17th. Shit. If I was you, I would just keep your mouth shut and just take your punishment. Genuinely, because that's actually a joke. You're 170 million pounds spent and you're 17th. That is scary, bro.
11 on points with Nottingham Forest.
Even you, in your wildest dreams, you never even foresaw this.
Lawless, you're 2 points off the bottom.
Like, that's crazy. That's
You're
crazy.
You're
That's
one more.
crazy.
You're one more defeat away from being potentially bottom, or at least in the relegation zone.
And you've got Leeds and Wolves next who you need to be beating
Bro.
because they're around you.
Bro, Bournemouth are behind them. Bournemouth. Look at West Ham's squad in comparison to Bournemouth. Everton are above them. Look at Everton's squad in comparison to West Ham. Bro, one team significantly better than the other, and yet look at where they are on the table.
And I'm not even
This guy wants
trying to
run
harp
back
on here because
big man
I'm
thing. You should not be smiling. You should actually be worried.
I'm
Premier League survival.
I'm not in a great position because right now I don't even fuck run in London, right? We don't even run West London. Brentford and Fulham are ahead of Chelsea right now. So our own neighbours, I'm starting to think QPR might leapfrog us, and they're not even a damn league. So you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna get to Chelsea in a minute, don't worry. But you're trying to deflect too much. When we get to Chelsea and Tottenham, we won't be deflecting. We won't. But you right now, 2 points off the bottom, Lawless, and you got a good team. Like,
I know.
Man for man, still same as last week. You're right up there for me with Newcastle from a quality standpoint. I don't think you can look at Longstaff and Willock and say, "Oh yeah, they're leaps and bounds," because they're not. They're not leaps and bounds better than what you've got. You guys have got
Better than Suchek.
100, yeah, better than Suchek.
Better than Suchek.
100 million Declan Rice, 150 million to some people on Sky Sports when I was debating them last year. Declan Rice, Skamaka from PSG transfer link, Paqueta starter for Brazil, Cornet Burnley's best player, Bowen player of the year last year, one of the players of the year linked with Liverpool.
I think Newcastle wanted Bowen, didn't they?
Yeah. Zuma, French international, former Chelsea player. Aguerd, one of the best world players in the World Cup. Shall we go on? Your best bargain buyer goalkeeper, who I'm still yet to... I don't know what's going on with him. He's
Flappy Hansky.
Brother.
Flappy Hansky? What about him?
Flappy Kansky. Bruh, talk, bro.
All right, let's talk, right? Let's talk about it. Okay, look, Cornet is injured, Aguerd's been injured, Zuma's currently injured, right? Now, I've literally just been having this debate on Twitter, right? And with certain people who say, oh, but he hasn't got a fully fit squad. No one has a fully fit squad, right? Even with injuries, you take the Cornet injury into consideration, take the Aguerd injury into consideration. Zuma's been more recent. There's no excuse for this team being 17th in the league, 5 losses in a row. I'm sorry, injuries or no injuries, yeah, that should not be happening. And it's just, it's on the manager.
Brother, as soon as he announced the form, it's like God celebrated.
That'll be me, yeah, when Moyes gets the sack. That'll be me letting off the fireworks. And I don't even like fireworks, but I'll let some off. Like, you just can't excuse it. And that's it comes down to the manager. And I keep hearing a lot of people go, oh, but the players, when they cross that white line, maybe they don't know what they're supposed to be doing when they cross the white line. Maybe his instructions just ain't correct. His plan, his game plan, his style of play, the system, whatever. It's just not worked out at all. We've been crap all season. So it's not even just an injury thing. And if it's all based, like I said, if you're as a manager, you need every player fit for you to not be facing relegation, then you ain't a good manager. You ain't a good coach, or you're not good enough to be spending £170 million because you spend that money. Like, who here, none of us have had a fully fit squad. In fact, there's no team, I can say this without even knowing, without even checking, no team in this league has had a fully fit squad all season.
Yeah, true.
None.
Yeah. 0.
So why should Moyes get excuses for not having a fully fit squad? I can see you go, okay, well, last season we were 6th, 7th. So, okay, maybe if we were like mid-table, and you go, damn, like, if we just had a Aguerd fit, you know, if we'd had Cornet, what could Cornet have brought to the team? What could Zuma, you know, if he was fit recently? But, you know, we're not. With the drop-off is huge. So this is what I'm hoping. They're saying they're sticking with Moyes. They're not looking to sack him yet. I don't know how many losses it's going to take before they pull the trigger. But
do you actually genuinely believe you can get relegated with him? Or is that you being a little bit dramatic?
No, I genuinely believe that Moyes could take us down. I generally believe it because I think the players are starting to lose faith in him. You know, I think they're starting
What's been going on with Paqueta? Has he actually been playing? And if he has been, why has he been so shit?
Yeah, he has been playing. But look, no, the thing is, yeah, like, and it's a bit rich coming from Potts, yeah, because your whole fan base, when you got Pepe in, yeah, was the whole first season. Oh, it's his first season. Give him time. But what? We don't give that time to Paqueta? He's not just coming to a new league. He's coming into a new league in a team that's playing shit. Yeah. So look, he's not living up to his name and his hype that he got right now.
What's his best position though? Like, is it in the double pivot with Rice where I'm starting to see him, or is he meant to be in the 10? From what you've seen of him so far, where would you want him to actually be playing?
Well, we haven't seen enough of him next to Rice. I think Moyes is finally trying him out next to Rice, because he has been playing in the 10 previously, and has been working so all West Ham fans have been calling for him, or not all, but a lot of West Ham fans have been calling for him to play next to Rice. And I have to say, like, that Brentford game, the first 17 minutes, like up until they scored, we actually looked good. Moyes switched to back 3, back 5 system, which, people would argue it's not automatically defensive, but it depends on the personnel you have. We don't really have the personnel for that system. But like I said, we looked good, but I think Brentford came there with a game plan anyway. They came there ready to soak up pressure and hit us on the break anyway. So I can't even take positives out of that, because once they got their goal, that was it. We never looked like scoring.
They're organized when they want to be, man. Like,
yeah, they are. And the goal was ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. And you have people like Creswell as well, who's just absolutely awful. I don't know what Emerson has done to not get ahead of this guy. This is what I'm saying. He's signing people and not playing them. Areola.
They both started, didn't they?
Yeah, he started further on. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when we play that back 4, to me,
then
I would
you want Emerson in there, yeah.
Put Emerson in there. But even in that back 3, Kerr should have been in there instead of Creswell, because Kerr is actually a centre back as well as a right, but he actually can play both.
He's not a good one, I can tell you that for free.
Well, dreadful, again, the jury is out on that, because
the jury's out. The jury's out. Even though we told you before, as he was signing for West Ham, that we've seen this guy for PSG. He ain't the worst player in the world, but he's not good.
He's a German international, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. German international.
The Germans aren't Germaning right now. I'm not going to lie to you. The Germans went out in the group stage of the World Cup.
I could probably play for them if I was German.
Bro, the way that German defense was stinking, and Kerr still couldn't even get regular minutes. What does that say about him?
Kerr looks great when they played against England before the World Cup, And
did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's terrible.
Best
was that a serious game, or was that a friendly?
Well,
Nations League rubbish. It wasn't
League.
even that. It wasn't even.
Can I ask, right? Can I ask? Because everybody's played Brentford, right? Brentford also slapped up Ten Hag's Man United, but that was when they played Eriksen a double pivot. They're actually playing, weirdly enough, prime Stoke with a little hint of good football with it as well. Like,
they're not playing that well, yeah, bro. Like today, granted, today they went at Liverpool in the first half and they were more than good value for the 2-0 lead. But the second half, they just sat back all second half, and it was Liverpool that had all the ball. If anything, it looked more likely that Liverpool were probably going to go on and get an equaliser. But then, bang, that goal. They were just looking for the one moment, bang. And Conte gifted, he got his legs tangled up, gifted Mbeumo free sight in that goal, and Mbeumo stuck it away.
I think this is why a lot of West Ham fans have been calling for Thomas Frank.
I was just going to say that.
I was going to ask, right, how good is he?
Much worse job than him, mate. Trust me, I like him a lot.
And that is the thing. And even though he's not necessarily like the most attacking manager, what seems to be about him is he seems to be tactically astute. And his game management seems to be class, and he's and the ability to adapt. Where Moyes seems like he has one way of playing, and he'll keep playing that until it don't work, and he'll go, "I'll change things for the sake of changing things," rather than actually tactically looking at the opposition and going, "Okay, here's how I can nullify this team's player," and going from there. And
there's the thing as well. Like, West Ham fans will want So let's say they want Moyes out now. Everyone wants Moyes gone, blah, 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 right? Let's say that happens. West Ham have got like 3 options. They either go and get Sean Dyche and try to stay up, which I don't think they should do, but that's up to West Ham. They should either go attacking and go get Marcelo Bielsa and just go all out attack like Leeds did, or they go in the middle. And I think Thomas Frank is more in the middle. I think he's balanced. I think he's disciplined. I think he's well defensive minded, but also he knows how to bully teams and knows how to put the ball in the net. And for me, you could do a lot worse than getting him. But would he go at the moment? Would he go to West Ham? Is he enjoying the ride at Brentford? They're above Chelsea. They're looking like they're in European positions.
Just signed a new contract.
There you go. It might be hard to get him, mate.
Yeah, it would be. But that's, to me, regardless, Moyes has to go. It is criminal to spend 170 million pounds, and be in a relegation battle.
No, it is.
You can't do that, especially after deciding not to sign players in January when we was in to win the Europa League, right? And say, I'm going to wait to get the right players in the summer. I'm not going to just sign anybody. I'm going to get the right ones in the summer. Summer comes, you spend 170 million pound, and we don't just go backwards. We go like flipping down. Like I said in my video the other day, we fall off a cliff.
I'm just trying to, because at the moment Brentford are 7th, Fulham are 8th, Palace won as well this weekend. There's a lot of people vying for London right now.
We should not be the worst London team. That's criminal,
bro.
That's not right.
The other London clubs are fighting. They're fighting to be recognised on this show. They want their limelight. I'm just wondering if Brentford actually keep this going and finish in the top 10. And, I'm just wondering if Thomas Frank could go into either one of the clubs of potentially managing leaving. I'm looking at Tottenham, Conte leaving, maybe. I don't know.
Would you take Thomas Frank?
I saw his quotes.
I wouldn't take Thomas Frank because he's what has he done to suggest that he's good enough to manage Spurs?
He got Brentford promoted. He stabilized them in the. This ain't just.
Yeah, then go manage West Ham. Don't come to manage Spurs. This is a side that's been in the Champions League like 4 or 5 times in the last 7 years. Sorry, but
it's a club that's probably not going to be there for the next 7 years. Like, let's be real.
Do you want to put money on that? Do you want to put money on that?
Listen, you better stop betting, I'm
no.
Hey, Ivan Toney, relax.
Do you want to put money? Like you said, do you want to put money on us not being in the Champions League for the next 7 years?
I know. Let me see if you'll pay me from this bet before I make another bet with you. Yeah.
No, we can have 2 bets. We can have 2 bets. Why? No. You're so confident.
No, because I want to see if you actually. Because I can't just keep making bets you, and then I win.
I pay my bets.
That's not what you said on the last show.
Yeah, I'm saying I pay my bets. I might not pay you. I pay my bets generally.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It all comes out.
Yeah, and shout out Fulham as well. They won this weekend.
But I have
to give a shout out. But I have to transition a little bit over to Tottenham as well because.
Because we get on Tottenham, anyone here, right? Realistically, what do you think the chances are of Spurs? Let's even say 5 years, in the next 5 years. Can you see Spurs playing in the Champions League?
No, that's too much of a difficult question because you don't know who their manager is going to be. You don't know. There's so many factors involved there. Tottenham are always in and around there.
Man City are guaranteed to be there. Yeah, Man City guaranteed. Let's just write that off. Newcastle probably, buy their way up there. If the process keeps processing, maybe Arsenal will be around there. They're not guaranteed, but you got Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham. I think on the way down, Harry Kane's going to be gone.
I did say when in Tottenham in Tobs' absence on the last show on his absence, I do think Tottenham are in some serious shit. I did say that on the last show. Like Tottenham they're not building for they're trying to half build for the future. By bringing in Jed Spence and, Kulusevski, but then Conte doesn't want to use one of those individuals because he's obviously on a whole nother, type of mindset of win now, give me my 37 Italian stallion from Serie A. Mm-hmm. And because they're not fully backing him or they're not fully going in his direction, they're trying to do like half and half, Perisic and Spence. It's very wishy-washy. Club signing and give you what you want. You can't, I've said it already, you can't half back Conte. You either go all the way in and risk the long-term financial stability of your club or the long-term playing, squad in terms of age or whatever. Because when he leaves clubs, when Conte has a history of leaving clubs in shit. He left our club in shit. He left Inter Milan because they had financial difficulties. That's not his fault, but they're still drop off. And Tottenham, I think Levy kind of knows that, listen, you're not going to come in here short term and fuck up my club and then walk away. You're not going to do that. And I don't know if these quotes are true, Toby, about the maybe we'll finish 5th, 6th, 7th. I don't know where that came from. It's going all over socials.
They are real.
Yeah. What's that all about? Is it just defeats? Is it
defeatist?
Is that not defeatist from your manager to kind of?
It's what he does. I don't know why we're pretending to be surprised. It's what he does.
But do you want that in a manager? That's my question. Is like,
I don't care.
You don't mind?
I do not give a shit. Honestly, he's been like that. He was like that before Spurs. I don't care. Yeah, I would like him to take a bit more accountability for his performance as a manager, because I actually think he's been quite poor when it comes to the coaching aspect for Spurs this season. If you compare it to last season in terms of what he was able to get out of the squads, I think he's not done anywhere near as well as he did last year with his rotation, with his style of play, with his results in the last like 2 to 3 months. I think everything has just gone down. But if you're going to ask me, oh, do you care about these comments? No, I couldn't care less. If anything, I even like the fact that he says these things, because it serves as a daily reminder that he can't let the people above him get away with the way in which they sort of manage our squad. Like it's not on. It's not on.
You know what, right? I'll say this. Tobs can close his ears, to be fair, because this ain't really directed at him, right? Because Tobs knows me and him actually do agree on quite a lot in football, right? But some of the Spurs fans deserve some of this reality check, because the amount of times that people have dissed Lawless, keep off of him, he's a World Cup winner. But he's making keep off of him, he's a World Cup winner. But he's making clangers. Okay, keep him in goal. Please keep him in goal. Eric Dyer's not good enough. Yeah, he's always been our best defender the last 2 years. Cool, keep him then. Don't complain when it goes wrong. Don't complain. Tanganga's a good youngster here. He's a great youngster. Don't complain when you're playing him then. Like, some of these Tottenham fans, I don't get it. I don't understand it. What were they expecting? They think these players that stop sticking up for them. Actually, use your voice and say, I want better than Lloris in goal. I want better at the back. And to be fair, Toby's one of those. He has said it. I know you stuck up for Lloris, to be fair, Tobs.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Seasons.
Yeah,
I've
Lawless
heard him of late.
face.
No, because I've heard him of late. No. I've heard him of late say, I'm done with him now, and he's done. I need to see better.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we need to see now. And you can't have that. If this is basically Arsenal going, lay off Mustafi. Kolasinac is a good left back. Keep off of Leno. He's not that bad. Bellerin's a good player. Bellerin's a quality right back.
Killing me.
Keep Bellerin. Please keep Bellerin. Let's please have Bellerin. Francis Coquelin, he's the next Vieira. Keep him in the middle. You think you would not be laughing at that? I'm hearing Tottenham fans saying, Ben Davies, he's solid. Keep him at left foot. Go and do better. Stop complaining. When this is going wrong, now they're going, maybe we didn't have that good a transfer window. Like people were saying you didn't. Maybe this wasn't that great. I thought we won the transfer window. Maybe these players aren't that good at the back, you know. Oh, my God. Come on, man. Reality check.
I feel like that's where Tobs is getting to now, though. That's why recently he's looking at it and going, you know, maybe everything's not all rosy. Maybe Lloris ain't as good. Maybe he doesn't automatically walk into...
No, the reality check isn't with a lot of the players that Potts spoken about, because a lot of the players that Potts just mentioned now were players that we wanted to upgrade on in the summer. We wanted to upgrade on Dyer. We wanted to upgrade on Davies, right? We didn't want these guys to be bona fide starters heading into this season. In fact, Dyer is probably the exception, and even that one is because we didn't sign the 2 centre backs, and he was coming off the back of a strong campaign last season. But generally speaking, we wanted like a new look defense this season. That was the plan. And we didn't get that.
But the thing is, Tobs, I don't see a plan. I don't see a plan at Spurs. I see you bringing in Conte. The reason to bring in Conte is to do something now. If you're not going to back the guy, I think Tottenham in call it the Big Six, whatever, you know, Lawless jokes around, in the 6 clubs that are known as the Big Six, I
big
actually
six.
think
Don't let him.
big
Don't let
six-
him.
Okay,
Don't
so
let
big
him
six.
chat shit.
The big
and-
five.
Man
plus
City are
four.
spending. Hang on one sec. Man City are fine. They're spending. We all know it. Arsenal look like they've got a plan. They've always had a plan. I just had doubts whether they could execute it. At the moment, it's looking like it's going well. Manchester United under Ten Hag, they're going to give him millions and millions and millions of pounds, and he looks like he wants to try and take it forward. Chelsea, they stink, absolutely stink, and we'll come on to them. But they're going to spend mad amounts of money.
They're gonna
I don't
throw-
think Tottenham are going to do
they
it.
get it right.
I don't think Tottenham are going to do it. I look at what they're doing now. They've got an unbelievable stadium. I've never known Tottenham to be title challengers in my 35 years. I've never known it to be in a Champions League final. I don't think people understand. That is crazy. For me, in 35 years, seeing Tottenham in a Champions League final, I need to be seeing that owner then go, wow, what are we going to do next to make sure we stay there? And Levy's just gone, well, yeah, it's all right. We've done that now. Let's just get Conte and try and win it. You've tried everything and it ain't worked. What happens now? I honestly believe, and Lawless says, 5 years. I don't think that's actually that laughable when I look at it. In the next 5 years, I would not want to put my house on Tottenham being in the Champions League every single year. I wouldn't want to do that.
I didn't say every single year. He said we'll not be in the Champions League for 7 years. That's what he said.
I don't.
Okay.
Well, no,
That's what he said.
I don't. All right, maybe. All right, let's say you, like I said, scale it back to 5 years because, like I said, Kane's going
To be honest, it's
Son's
not-
gonna be
And what's funny is Potts. I can't really like. I think it's bleak because of the ownership that we have. It's bleak. I can't come here and tell you that it's optimistic.
And the thing is, Man United and Liverpool
think-
were on the edge of a takeover as well.
Yeah,
They're on the
I
verge of
think-
getting new owners.
I think
Yeah.
to say
What do
not once in 7 years is a big shout, but I think it's definitely likely.
It's actually quite a big shout from a West Ham fan as well.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but-
Lawless.
Exactly.
But
come on
I
now,
think,
because
but hold on,
How
I
big
think
a part was Kane, though?
I think yeah, that's what I'm about to come on to. When you look at Harry Kane and you look at Son, those have been Tottenham's best two players for a long time, and now Son has disappeared into
Lawless is
oblivion
loving
this
this.
season. He's nowhere near what he was over the last couple of years. I don't know if Son's ever coming back. You know, we were promised on this very show he would be back this season. I'm not sure now. It's starting to look a bit rosy on that one. But Kane, new contract, Conte, we don't know what's going on there. So if Kane leaves or if Kane just, even if he sticks around for the next couple of years, at the end of the day, if you look at Tottenham's best players in terms of, it's just Kulusevski and Romeo, and maybe you could say throw in Bentancur. And outside of that,
No, we've
who
got
else?
Richarlison, we've got Jet Spence, we've got Destiny.
Richarlison hasn't got a goal in the
What-
Premier
what do you
League.
mean
I don't
this
care if
season?
he hasn't got a goal.
I don't. If we're talking about Champions, hold on. If we're talking about Champions League, no, we're talking about Champions. Richarlison's been playing for Everton his whole career. He's a good player, but let's not overdo it. Richarlison
and
is
that's
not
my-
going to get
no,
you.
that's my
Richarlison's not
point.
going to get
That's
you
my
into the
point.
Champions League. He's not.
There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. He's a good player. That's it.
He's a good player. He's
Why-
not going to get you
why
into the
you
Champions
mentioning
League.
him
Harry
first?
Kane to
Like, he's not doing
Richarlison.
anything.
Harry Kane to Richarlison is a massive, emphatic, bombastic drop off. If that
We
is
know
what
that.
if that's the next Tottenham, Richarlison up
bro,
top,
bro.
then fuck me.
And that's the problem right there. That is the issue right there. What you've just said there, the fact that you think Spurs cannot survive without Harry Kane and Son. The reason why you think that is because our team has been geared towards these two. There's been a severe over-reliance on the two.
But if you
When you
fall
look
out,
at Arsenal,
if you fall
when
out of
you- when you-
Champions League
When
with
you
this
look at
owner, who do you bring?
forget
in?
about when you look at, and I hate using Arsenal as an example, but when you look at Arsenal now,
Use us.
genuinely, no, in fact, no, fuck it. I'm not even going to use Arsenal. When you look at the old Man City, yeah, not the new Man City that's so over reliant on Haaland for goals, yeah. When you look at the old Man City, they had a spread. They had Aguero who was scoring 20 goals, 25 league goals. They had Sterling who was scoring close to 20 league goals. They had Leroy Sané that was scoring 15 league goals. They had Gabriel Jesus that's scoring 10 league goals. They had Kevin De Bruyne that's scoring like 10 league goals.
Goals by committee.
Yeah. They had money, but they had. It wasn't just. It was a system. It wasn't just reliant on one player. Kevin De Bruyne missed basically half a season in the formidable season, and Man City won the league, hitting 98 points. Hitting 98 points.
I hear this.
And no, I've not finished. So you saying, oh yeah, Kane and Son, you're right. Kane and Son are massive pieces for Spurs. And when these guys dip right
They both
now,
stunk out the house. They both stunk out the place.
exactly. When these guys dip, you see the issue. But the issue is this: there has been too much of a reliance on Kane and Son. Spurs need to move on from Kane and Son. I hate the fact that it's taken Son playing poorly It's taken some playing poorly to maybe try and accelerate that. But Spurs need to move on from Kane and Son. That is literally one of our issues. That's literally one of our issues. Our best team with Pochettino, the best version of Spurs with Pochettino, it wasn't just Kane and Son.
No,
we had Eriksen, we had Dele Alli, we had Lucas Moura on the bench. We had players, bro. We had players.
The league is getting tougher, Tobs. And you guys, you don't have more money than Chelsea. You don't have more money than Man City. You don't have more money than Newcastle. You don't have more.
I agree with.
You don't have more pool than Manchester United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. That's
Matisse,
6 teams.
That's what I agree with.
That's what I'm saying. So how are you going to get Champions League consistently? Like Lawless is
I don't
not once in a blue moon, once every 5, 6. Like seriously, now how are you going to get Champions League competing with all these clubs with no money? Your owner doesn't want to splash, and you don't. How?
New owners.
They're not going anywhere, man. They're not going anywhere.
You got to get new owners, fam, because otherwise you guys are going to be in some serious shit.
But this is Spurs. Spurs, you could say this in the past 10 years ago. It's like, how did we get Champions League when Man City had oil money, Chelsea had Roman Abramovich, Arsenal were Arsenal, Liverpool were Liverpool, Man United were like Man United. We still got Champions League football. Me personally, I think it's quite mad to say that a team that's been able to get Champions League football over the last 10 years, a team that's been able to get Champions League football for the majority of the last 10 years, for you to say, oh yeah, you don't see them getting Champions League football for the next 7 years, I think that's mad. And I would never subscribe to that. I think that's bullshit personally. But if you're telling me about the immediate future for Spurs, it is bleak. It definitely is bleak. But if Conte leaves and the same hierarchy are trusted to bring in a new manager and then try and do the same bullshit with him, and then on the back of our 2 best players approaching the wrong side of 30, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the future is bright, am I? We've
seen big teams or teams that finish high up in tables drop off before, and Newcastle was one of them, and they needed a whole ownership change before they came back into the conversation. So I think Lawless is overdoing it with the 1 in 7 or none in 7. None in 7 is nuts, but I don't think it's overblown to say that Tottenham could drop out of where they used to be in and end up being in a position that you're not familiar with over the last 10 years.
Maybe
because you've fallen behind the pack.
Maybe, but why? But it could easily happen to you. Maybe
it could, but money humbles. Money bails people out.
Man City have money. Man United have money. Newcastle have money.
Keep going again. That's the difference, right? Chelsea,
Man United won't.
And
Man United won't.
You can't.
Man United won't. I'm not to forget about Spurs. I'm saying Chelsea in terms of top 4. Man United won't go again.
That's what I'm saying. We
won't go again.
On top 4, 100%. But I'm just saying, in terms of the percentages, you guys are really like, because you don't have the money. Because you don't have the money. Your recruitment is iffy because of the whole, Emerson Royale and the Doherty's, and so your recruitment's not spot on. It's kind of like 50-50.
Our recruitment is shit. It's not spot on. It's crap.
But that's the problem. So you can't just, when your recruitment goes wrong, you can't just go, we'll start again next season, because you ain't got that financial or your
look at the players you've named. Look how long they've been at Tottenham.
That's fine. That's fine, bro. That's fine, bro. But what I'm just saying is, it's funny how you're saying it's so bleak for Spurs, and fair enough, it's warranted. But you should probably wipe the speck off your own eye and speak about your club as well, because you seem to think that just throw money at everything just equals, you get top 4. And
I didn't say that. I didn't say it was going to be guaranteed.
No. But the narrative here is in comparison to Spurs. When we're saying that Spurs have
Chelsea have a much better long-term.
You say, Chelsea have money, they could throw. It doesn't matter. As you've seen this season, as you've seen last season, as you've seen the last 3 seasons, you can throw as much money as you want. Yeah, you can throw all that money. Yeah, when it really comes down to it, if you're not spending that money well enough, you will be left behind. And right now, you are not better than Liverpool. You are not even better than Newcastle right now, despite all the money you spent. You're not better than Arsenal. You're not better than Man United, and you're not better than Man City. And out of those clubs I've mentioned, 3 of those clubs have the ability to spend as much as you. Right? So if Spurs
I do have is an ambitious owner who's got a track record of, in a different sport, getting his way and getting back to the top. Now, yes, it's been shit this season, but your owner doesn't seem to give a damn. That's the difference. My owner has brought in.
Speaking about Spurs,
we're gonna go to Chelsea.
I agree.
We're gonna go to Chelsea. Short-term pain is we're bleeding. We are on the deathbed. We are in hospital right now. But long-term, when you see the young players that we're going for and the staff behind the scenes, you can have some sort of hope going into the long term. You can, because you know that in a few years' time, when these young players come through, you hope that, listen, the recruitment staff, the intelligent recruitment staff from the Red Bull model that have got a great track record, from Brighton who have got a great track record, surely it has to make sense and add up. You're putting your thumbs up, but listen, you guys for me are in a worse situation. But we're gonna get to Chelsea.
Probably. Well, yeah, because you've got money, but you're the team who seems to somehow spend tons every season. And you're moving further away from the Chelsea, the Roman Abramovich Chelsea. When was the last time you won a league title?
2017.
Yeah. Champions League was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You won two cup finals last year. In domestic cup finals, you lost. This season, you are nowhere near winning anything. You're nowhere near winning anything. Right,
but that's not that bad. Like as you make it sound, like when you said it out like that, I thought, No.
You're saying it's not that bad.
Totts would bite your hand off for a Champions League 2 years.
You're saying it's not that bad. Of course, it's bad when you look at the money they're spending. How can you say it's not bad?
On the final, no, but I'm saying for the spending. But the thing is,
by the way, on this money spent thing, let's not go too crazy. We have spent a lot of money. But we also sell. We also get quite a lot of money in. We also had a track. We also I'm not talking about for this. I'm not
buying Enzo Fernandez for 130 million.
I know. Hold on, let me land.
Let me land. What money? What 100? You're buying Enzo Fernandez for 130 million.
Let me land.
Do not piss. Don't even piss me off.
Let me land.
Piss me off. No. Don't tell me.
Let me land this plane.
Don't tell me relax. You spent close to 280 million pounds in the summer. And you're languishing in ninth. You're already on the cusp of signing this Fofana youth for how much? You're signing Badiashile for how much? You're signing Enzo for 130 million. I don't give a fuck about what money you made off being in the Champions League and stuff. Bro, this is disgusting spending. This is disgusting spending, bro. It's unprecedented spending. Once this Enzo deal is signed, this will have to be a record. I don't know any team that will have spent as much as they have spent on transfers across summer and January. So don't give me that bullshit about we make it back. There's no way on earth you have made enough to justify over 400 million pounds worth of transfer spent.
Can I just defend Chelsea a second, right? You're right. It is disgusting, but I came here ready to give Matisse some smoke as well, but I have to defend Chelsea because they've gone through a situation where they had a forced ownership change, right? They had that season where they couldn't make transfers, then they had to go mad to make up for that season. Then Roman Abramovich was forced to sell. He sold. Bowley came in, spent a load of money on Tuchel, sacked Tuchel, which again is madness in that respect. But now you've got Potter, which is the start of a new process, for Potts. I know you like that word. A new process. You have to back that. Like Potter needs to be backed. So you kind of have to.
I didn't say he doesn't need to be backed, but 400 million.
What I'm saying is, it's when you look at it, the context. Like I said, the transfer ban, Roman Abramovich being forced to sell, new owner coming in. Tuchel straight away has to go out. Like, we have to kind of look at Chelsea now.
I know what you're trying to do, but there is no context in the world that can justify over 400 million pounds spent in one window. There's January and summer. There's no rationale you can put in front of me to justify that spend. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it, bro. I'm sorry, I'm not hearing it.
Bowley was ridiculous. I agree. I think the whole splashing that money and then sacking a guy. And then you have to. Now he's in a situation but he's come into a situation as well where all these different managers bought all these different players. It's a mishmash team. It's just, I think squad-wise, it's just a bit of a mess.
It is a mess of a team, but it's been.
You know what, as well, Matisse. Like I've got to ask you a question on something you said because I don't get it. You said, you see a plan because we've got some young players that would be linked with. Chelsea have got rid of some of the young players in the last 5 years that are now playing across the Premier League. So I don't know
But
if
that's under a
new...
different ownership. That's the thing.
So
I don't
this
think
is my
this ownership, they had the opportunity to get rid of Levi Colwill to make the Cucurella deal cheaper because they wanted Levi Colwill on a swap deal. And this ownership said, no, we'll pay more for Cucurella to keep Levi Colwill. You're not having Levi Colwill. I do believe
this same ownership then are now going to buy Badiashile and bought Koulibaly in the summer, both who play left-sided centre-back.
I hear that. For the Koulibaly thing, I think it's for Tuchel
again.
Then. For Tuchel, again, because Tuchel didn't want to use Levi Colwill. And that's why Tuchel in
then so explain Badiashile. Explain Badiashile.
I don't know. You have one left-footed centre-back, and then you have Levi Colwill in the future as well.
Levi Colwill plays left-sided centre-back.
I know. So you have two. Competition. You have two people competing for the same spot.
But you already have Koulibaly there.
Brother, I'm not gonna lie.
So you have three centre-backs competing on
Koulibaly, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Koulibaly might actually be here for only a season. I actually think it looks like they're gonna move him.
I said I had doubts and everyone laughed, but I just didn't think it was gonna work.
He's been poor to the point where he actually might get sold in the summer. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked, but I didn't see this coming.
My question, Matisse, is if you're going to go for like the young plan, are you going to go down the Arsenal route in terms of getting an implementation of young players like Ben White, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Saka, Martinelli in for the first team? Or are you going to be getting mad money spending and then go for a young team, but that backs up your first 11? That's what I'm getting.
It will be a young team. It will.
Okay.
The only thing that will confuse me is if they start renewing contracts for Jorginho, for Conte. If they start doing that, Aubameyang needs to leave immediately. If they start doing that, then they're all. I'm confused. But at the moment, what it looks like is they're trying to create this under 23, under 24 kind of super team where they're bringing in the players. Some of them cheap, Andre Santos or whatever. They're trying to get them before the middleman, before the Benficas, the Brightons, and then you have to pay extortion. And then there are the Enzo Fernandezes, which are just like ridiculous amount of money because he's going to come in and be a starter and replace Kante, who's always injured, Jorginho, who's not good enough, etc. But
how much patience have your fan base got for that though? Because I'm seeing a lot of
Potter. Well, it's mixed. Already. It's mixed. Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you guys, based on what you've seen so far from Potter, because I know when Chelsea hired him, you all rate Potter as a coach. From what you've seen so far, what do you make of him at the moment? And would you,
rubbish.
Yeah, would you be like
confused?
He's been rubbish. He doesn't really know his best team, and he's finding his way into the role. But I think it's downright lunacy to want him sacked. You have to put up with it. You have to put up with it. It doesn't make any sense. You've put him in this position now. Whether you like him or not, he needs time. He needs time and he needs patience to try and at least get his ideas on board to the rest of the squad. And he also needs some of his players as well.
The culture, in the Chelsea fan base under the Roman Abramovich era it's like a learned culture of quick short-termism, quick results, change manager, new manager comes in, does well instantly, we win stuff. Is the fan base, is that culture there that they're going to be able to say, let's give Potter, to the end of the season, we can be crap, finish mid-table, and the next season starts slow, and then we start to see, and look, you look at even the Arsenal fan base, and I'm still like not fully sold on Arteta yet, and all of this stuff. We need to see it over time. But even though there was the small Arteta out crowd, which I know
massive, not small, huge,
right, massive. But he had more. I feel like he had more patience in the Arsenal fan base than he would have if he was at Chelsea.
Oh yeah,
I feel like you guys you're just not used to that. You're not used to giving managers time.
I think because Chelsea were winning major trophies, they're used to say, okay, you got to win a major trophy. Whereas Arsenal, apart from the FA Cups, they weren't at the top in the league titles, Champions League. So the standards are slightly different. But I think Chelsea fans should be looking at the Premier League performances over the last 5 years, and they should be seeing the consistent, awful, embarrassing runs for top four where we don't deserve to make top four. Chelsea could have easily missed out on 2 extra Champions League campaigns, in my opinion, if you go back to the top 4 races. Little Gareth Bale remove of the hat-trick, a little removal of a Mason Mount free kick against Wolves, and suddenly Chelsea aren't playing Champions League football in a couple more seasons. And then this fan base might be like, oh shit, we're actually not that good. So yes, you can get a top manager, instant impact, maybe a Conte or whatever, a world-class manager, not Potter, and you could maybe string this Chelsea along again to another cup, and you could short term your way through it. But if you want to get back to leagues, if you want to get back to actual not dominance. I don't think anybody's going to dominate, in the next 10 years. I think it's going to be shared around quite a lot if everybody does what they need to do. But if you want to get back to actually competing properly for a league, you need to go this route. It's too many clubs that have gone down this route for you to try and short term or skate past. Arsenal, they ain't done shit yet, but their route was we're gonna stick the course. Man City, different situation, whole heap of money, but they obviously have got Pep. They've got top to bottom. They know what they're doing. Klopp, Liverpool. Nobody has come in and won just off the bat since Chelsea. So it's done. You can't win the league like that anymore. It's proof in the pudding. Is right there.
I think as well, like we're confused watching Potter because I think Potter's a bit confused. Like he's used to, like, this is your team at Brighton. Some of them ain't great, but you're gonna have to do what you can with this. I think with Chelsea, there's so many little options. I haven't seen him start his best 11, or I don't know what his best 11 is. I keep seeing chopping and changing. I do see some strange things, if I'm honest, but he's going to have to try it. I think he's just experimenting, and if Chelsea fans want winning now, I'm sorry, man, you're going to be disappointed. It's going to take time, this, and Potter's going to need it. I think that it will be interesting to see whether this ownership are going to be giving managers time. Roman, we know he'd be gone probably now. So you look at what it's going to be.
He would not be hired. I'm not going to lie, he would not be.
He wouldn't be hired.
Exactly. Window yet,
so,
though. That's the
there
thing,
we go.
But
so that'll be interesting.
But for the sake of the argument, for other people that are listening to this, thinking, yeah, cool, that's all well and good, but you can't just do whatever you want. This is not a free hit. We don't do that around here. You're not going to just finish 12th. We're behind Brentford and Fulham. At some point, you have to have some sort of bare minimum baseline of.
I agree. That one I agree with. I totally agree with that.
Mid-table and then you won the league afterwards. What was that?
It was 8th or 9th, wasn't it? And then you won the league under Conte.
But you know what? That's a different type of Chelsea completely, because that team that finished 10th should never have finished 10th. It still had a Cesc Fabregas in it and Nemanja Matic or whatever. But just because Arsenal have done back-to-back 8ths doesn't mean this Chelsea team should be doing it, because we spent more than Arsenal, have a better team than Arsenal.
100%. The base is much higher already. The base is much higher already.
100%.
I agree with that. Potter, I think it's a downright shambles if Potter finishes outside even the top 6. I think it's a shambles if Chelsea finish outside the top 6. I don't care if it's
a shambles on the manager, though, because it depends what they do in January.
When you look at the squad that he's working with, it should be the bare minimum for Chelsea to finish top 6. I'm not saying top 4. I'm not saying top 6.
Yeah, but if you look at that squad on paper, as a team of individuals, right? You can say, oh yeah,
but it's his job to get it to become a team, isn't it?
To a degree, but I think some of them as well, you're dealing with not just good players, but big players as well, big names.
You are dealing with players that may not, because it is a jumble of players, right? But this is where bravery comes in. If you are Arteta at Arsenal and you make that decision to get rid of Aubameyang, get rid of Guendouzi, they're not popular decisions, but you made those decisions because you knew what you wanted. And everybody was, including myself at the time, thinking, this guy seems like he's just a Pep wannabe. He's chatting a lot, but is he really going to deliver on the goods? He got rid of a lot of players that people disagreed with, and he showed a lot of kahunas to say, you know what? If you're not going to listen to me and you're not going to do as I say, you can fuck off. Potter cannot be soft. That is what I'm judging him on this season. Style of play improving, and also ruthlessness. Every manager that comes into a club has to be ruthless in terms of if they're going to build for the long term. And if you're not going to be ruthless, and we're even seeing over the summer with Klopp, thinking that he didn't need a midfielder because he could trust Oxlade-Chamberlain. My brother, you pay that price for not being ruthless, for not thinking to move on into the next era of your team and getting in what you need to get in and being.
Do you think he can do a January clear out though?
This is not clear out, but it's got to be substantial enough.
Yeah,
I think if you've got long-term backing, 5-year contract, you should have the confidence to start cleansing that team quickly and getting players out that need to be removed.
Give us some names.
Azpilicueta should not be playing for Chelsea anymore, and he should definitely not be starting for Chelsea. And because Reece James is now, unfortunately, I'm going to say it, injury-prone, or at least susceptible to injuries more than the average player, then you need to make sure that your backup is a bona fide starter option in terms of the quality. He has to be good enough to play consistently, because that's what's happening. Reece James is out again. Jorginho, he had a great Chelsea career, in my opinion. In terms of the limitations that he's got physically, I think he's done pretty much everything that he could with his physical limitations. But he needs to move on, because you can't be watching Casemiro, Rodri, Party, and then saying anything otherwise, then that's exactly what's needed to compete in the Premier League. This Chelsea team is not physically capable of competing in the Premier League. Fuck technically, physically. We got bullied against Arsenal. We got bullied against we got bullied on the weekend. We're conceding goals to set pieces. We're not one of the teams that score from set pieces consistently. That is a way away from what Chelsea are used to being. We used to be powerhouses and bully teams. And if you look at the Premier League now, yes, you got technical players like Odegaard, De Bruyne, but they're also box to box. They're actually got energy. Look at the amount of power in the Arsenal team. Gabriel, Xhaka, Saliba, Partey. You know,
Xhaka, power, really?
Oh, Xhaka's not a pushover. He's not gonna be fucking.
He's always had strength. He's never really.
Yeah, he's a strong. Yeah, but he's a strong guy. Like he's not gonna be on the floor. Strong. He's not gonna be losing duels. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't expect to be Aspilicueta. You know, you can't expect to be having, you know, Jorginho in that midfield consistently, and then you're gonna complain that you got injuries to Conte that you've known for years. Thiago Silva is literally Chelsea's most creative player on the weekend. How is your most creative player a 37-year-old centre-back? How is that possible? That is embarrassing. That your best player and your most creative player is a 37-year-old centre-back.
You're shit.
It's nuts.
But you know what?
Up front, it's weak.
You just have better players.
Look at Aubameyang. Look at Aubameyang. Ball comes in from Ziyech. He doesn't even get his head on it. How can you? Your eye vision, your line of sight. The ball is coming in. You can see it the whole way through. There's no block.
Yeah, that's a bad miss. 100%, it's a bad miss.
It's just more weak. Do you know what I'm saying, Toby? It's just more push over weak. You know, it's just there's no strength in that team.
But yeah, I just think you guys are so flimsy, man. Like, and Graham Potter definitely deserves criticism, but I also think some of your players, man.
But why are we saying that, Tobs? Because that's what I was going to come on to. Some of the players deserve, like they've been terrible.
So fair weather, man.
They're a Champions League winning side a couple of seasons ago. They've spent 230 million, and you look at their first 11, and you think, I think they need about 6 players in that first 11, like that are better. It's like, why? Where's it gone wrong? I don't get how it's gone wrong in so quickly, because everyone's saying Chelsea have got unbelievable players, much better than Arsenal's, much better up there with Man City's. I don't see it on the pitch. The way they're playing is awful. I don't get it, man. It's mad.
If you sign
Hops as well, they it's reliable players, in quotation marks, reliable players, right? Koulibaly is one who I rate a lot, but he was terrible against Nottingham Forest. And you're like, okay, Graham Potter's struggling as a manager right now, but the individual performances of this team, it's a joke. And I remember some of these same players that were there when Thomas Tuchel were there, they let him down too as well. I'm looking at Donny up top playing through the middle. I'm not going to say his name because it feels like I say his name all the time, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to allude to him. I'm looking at the Donny on the left, the guy who was bought for almost 60 million quid, and your fans were saying, "Oh, stop Pulisic. He deserves to start. He deserves to start." I've seen this guy in 2 successive games, and he does nothing. He does sweet F4. He doesn't do anything. He don't do anything. But then I think also Potter don't help himself when I'm seeing man like Gallagher come and play double pivot. When you've seen that doesn't actually work. But then I'm also seeing man like Jorginho who are starting and they don't look good either. They're getting bossed in duels, similar to what you just mentioned now. So
even Zakaria, listen, average. You know, yes, he's got a bit of P&P to him, but he's not.
I've actually been I've actually been impressed when I've watched Zakaria play for Chelsea.
He's the one I'd keep him in there.
One of your better players and
he's the one for me that looks all right in midfield. To be honest, I mean, but at the moment, yeah, I probably would, because I don't know what else is in there at the moment in midfield that I like. If I'm honest, I just look at that and think, wow, what's going on in there? Like, I remember, like, you think back to Chelsea, Makelele, Lampard, Essien, Ballack. Like, wow, look at it now.
Quality.
And even what's his name? Cucurella, like, what is he bringing to this Chelsea team now? And I like Cucurella, but what is he actually bringing to this team? Because the same Cucurella I saw at Brighton, I've not seen that Cucurella at Chelsea. I've not. And nobody can tell me this guy's a scrub, because he's far from a scrub.
He's not, but going forward, he's lacked a lot to be desired. To be going forward, it's not been what I expected.
So yeah, I think we can criticize Potter, and I think he deserves criticism for some of the decisions he makes, his setup of the team. But I think there needs to be a spotlight yet again on some of your players because.
Do you think he? I think he's trying to build the team. It looks like around Mason Mount. Do you think that's the correct decision? There's a lot of debate.
No, I don't think it's the correct decision. I don't think he's good enough to build a team around. I've said this a million times, and me saying that doesn't mean he's not a good player. I think Mason Mount is a good player, but Mason Mount is not a player who you give the keys to sort of control or dictate a game of football. Why should he be the piece that you build your team around? Mason Mount, in my opinion, the best version of Chelsea, Mason Mount is a supplementary player, a player that can play a couple of games, but a player that could easily be benched for a couple of games. Like he for me, he's not essential to Chelsea's success.
It's like Hazard is a player you would build a team around.
Yeah, exactly. And you know how much I had my agenda on Hazard, but there are certain like Hazard, Fabregas. These are the type of players you build teams around. You do not build a team around Mason Mount. I'm sorry,
Facts.
you don't.
And I think the issue with my biggest issue right now is that you're getting inconsistent performances. He was great against Bournemouth, poor against Forest.
I bet he was. When you're playing at home in front of your own crowd and you're playing one of the worst sides in the league, of course he's going to turn up against Bournemouth.
Obviously, he's going to get his defense because of back-to-back player of the year. Cool. But do you know what I would love to see is stop treating these players like undisputed starters and bring in players that are better than them instead of recruiting or promoting the Conor Gallaghers who you know Conor Gallagher. And this is where my big issue with Tuchel is, first of all, thinking that Conor Gallagher was actually going to help him massively in the way that he plays a possession-based style. And secondly, putting him in the wrong position in that possession-based team in the double pivot to start the season where he was awful until he got moved. You're bringing in Conor Gallagher as a rotational piece for Mason Mount, acting like as if we don't need to push Mason Mount further with quality. Like, go and get someone better so then Mason Mount can raise his game. A lot of people go to the starters and they say, see, if this starter's not performing to the level, so we need to get rid of them. How about you get rid of the squad players that are not pushing the starters and get actual quality starters that can compete with the so-called unstoppable starters? And then what you will have there is proper competition. So you can actually improve the squad. I think a lot of the time I'm seeing players being promoted to back up players that shouldn't even be untouchable. The only few players that I've seen at Chelsea in the last couple of years untouchable in terms of performance is probably Silva and Reece James. And outside of that, there's nobody that you can hang your hat on and say, yeah, can't be touched. It just doesn't exist. So
Kovacic, maybe?
Kovacic,
his form has been a bit shaky.
Shaky. I think with him, he's too susceptible to injuries. Him and Conte, we know the level they can give at their best, but if you're susceptible to injuries, then like James now, I'm starting to worry about consistency when you actually come back into the team because you're always out. So it's long. But yeah, I don't think we'll be winning a trophy at all. FA Cup this weekend looking long for us against
400 million pounds spent once Enzo comes in and no trophy to show for it. Wow.
Yeah.
Boy,
I can go to the museum though. You can't. You know what I mean?
That's fine. That's fine. Go to your museum. Go to your museum. You can do whatever you like.
And you told me you were gonna win a trophy this season. So
yeah, I was, and I've got egg on my face. So
it looks like we're both holding a humble pie. Right now.
I'm mudded, but like you said, you're the one that's got money to throw at it. And you got nothing to show.
Well, I could be excited. I can't lie. I could be excited by Enzo coming in, even though it's overspend, because I do think the player's quality. You don't have that luxury of at least even.
That's fine. Enjoy it.
Excited to be excited by.
It's crazy.
You know you need centre backs. You ain't gonna get them centre backs.
And it's so hilarious as well because it's like you're signing Enzo, flavor of the month, who I really like, but I think he's not worth anywhere near 100 the amount you're going to pay for him. And you actually think some of your fans will actually think, oh wow, that's how issue solved. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy sign Enzo. I want to see how
it's not even a DM. So for people thinking that it's not that can't.
I can't wait. No.
He's not a DM. I know he's not a DM.
Stay over there. I want to see. I want to see.
Stay over there. I could be excited and still know that my midfield is not complete. He needs a DM next to him. There's no DM.
Okay, cool.
There's no DM.
Cool.
But cool. There's also no creative midfielder at Tottenham, and under Conte you ain't getting that. So
that's fine. You can talk about Spurs all you want, but you're meant to be better than us. You're meant to be superior.
How the tides turn, Tobs. How the tides turn. How the tides turn. I could say the same thing to you.
Stay over there with your relegation fodder, man.
You're better than us. You're supposed to be better than us.
Yeah, we are better than you, and you're the one that always compares yourself to us. We are better than you. I say that all
why
the
can't
time.
I say to you what you just said to Matisse? Why can't I say
No,
that
I
to
said that to Matisse because Matisse is trying to keep constantly bringing up Spurs when we're talking about Chelsea.
But when I talk about Spurs and I give Spurs shit, you always talk about West Ham.
No, I talk about Spurs, and then you try to interject and put West Ham into the conversation.
Whenever I say Spurs are shit, Spurs ain't doing this, you go, and what are West Ham doing? Relegation battle. And I'm like, I'm here as a neutral right now.
You're shit anyway. It's fine. You can say what you want.
Let's give the last part of the show to Potts and Arsenal.
Do we have to? And
same
old shit. Just watch last week's episode. Man. They won again.
Same old shit, man. You tried to make it look all competitive by conceding some complacent goals. Very funny. Saliba can't defend all of a sudden, letting people.
Saliba, yeah, let's talk about that.
Boy,
listen.
Potts.
Here we go. So we're top of the league, 7 points clear. Let's talk about Saliba.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
No.
Lawless is being serious. Lawless is actually being serious.
Yeah.
I'm being
Lawless
is like, yes, Saliba, yes.
Saliba looks a bit rusty now.
It does look rusty, man. 40
minutes. 2
minutes
games on the trot. Some bold mistakes.
40 minutes of football in 6 weeks has done him no favors, it seems.
Oh,
let's see how he bounces back. Because I still believe in the kid. But it has been a worry. Luckily, when you score 7 goals in 2 games, you can afford to slip up. When your front 4 all score, I'm happy. When we play West Ham and our front 3 all score, I'm happy. You know, Tobs has already mentioned goals by committee that Man City did to win the league. That's what we're doing. Erdegaard's got 7 goals and 5 assists. In last season, he got 7 goals and 4 assists in the whole season. 15 games in, he's got 7 goals and 5 assists, already beating it. Absolutely superb player. Mate, this guy is doing at the moment is crazy. That pass is one of the best assists I've seen in a long time. Absolutely superb. First time vision, the unbelievable weight of the pass. And I think Martinelli and Saka are a danger to anybody at the moment. They look absolutely wicked, the pair of them, you know. 7 goals, assists as well. You know, Jesus, everybody was worried about. Touch wood so far. The test comes now, but we haven't missed him in the last 2 games. This is going to be a real big test for us now. We've got Spurs, we've got Newcastle, we've got United. Let's see what would happen. But I will say this. I don't think any Spurs, Man United or Newcastle fan will be rubbing their hands together going, this is the test for Arsenal. They're going to get... Nah, they don't want to play us. Nobody wants to play us at the moment because we're playing well. Everybody at the moment is shit. I'm sorry. You might think I'm cocky, but they are. Everybody is shit. Let's not even mention West Ham because they have been shit for a long time. But actually, everybody else, I think Tottenham look shit at the moment. Chelsea, they look shit. Liverpool, embarrassing. Shit. I don't know why people are getting cocky with Liverpool. Like Leicester, had to score 2 goals to get them 3 points. You know, today they were shocking. Newcastle and Man City dropped points, but I still look at those 2 as the biggest threats in terms of what's happening in the top of the table.
What about Man United? I don't know. Saeed is trying to rally the troops.
Man United still look a little inconsistent for me. Like I don't look at them and think, wow, they do. Marcus Rashford's playing well and putting egg on my face because I don't rate him, but he's doing well this season. But without a striker still, I'm not sure. They'll do something in January. January's going to be key for all of this. Like, it's going to be massive. Like, Chelsea are going to go mad. Newcastle are going to go mad. I believe, from what I'm hearing, Arsenal are going to spend. I think when you look at what Manchester City and teams around can do, it could change things. But at the moment, we can only go on what we know. I know you guys have all said, calm down. It's only 5 games. Calm down. It's only 10 games. Calm down. It's only 15 games. I don't know when we get to a stage where we are in a title race. But with 7 points clear, I'm happy at the moment. I'm happy for people to keep putting disrespect on our names, saying we're a load of bums and we're no good, because the minute it changes is the minute the pressure starts and we will crumble. Because that's what normally happens.
I think the pressure's starting. It's starting to start.
Oh, I don't know. At the moment, no one thinks we can win the league still. So I'm happy.
If you lose, so that's where you're wrong. Because I think this weekend, I've seen a lot of people, including myself, start to shit themselves a little bit and have emergency meetings myself, because I'm like, yo, actually, Arsenal look like title winners. They're playing like title winners. If you were top and you weren't playing like title winners, then I would be a lot calmer. If I can spot Fugazi shit from a mile away. I said what Tottenham's doing is not sustainable with their...
What about what you're doing?
Yeah.
On the potable.
Hold on. Let me finish. I'm starting with you because you were shameless after you took 2-2 results.
After you snatched that pussy.
Shameless bastards. You know what I'm saying?
You snapped that pussy away.
You're not winning no trophy this season. and you're
That's
probably
calm.
not getting
What are
top
you
four.
winning?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then,
Okay,
and then I
then.
said it with Man United and Ollie when they finished second as well, and they came crashing back down to 7th. But you guys are actually playing like title winners. You've been the best team this season by far. For literally nearly every single game you would expect you would have won. And Man United, you still play well and lost that. So I'm shitting it now. I'm not going to lie, because my trust issues with Man City are starting to come to the table, because I'm not sure with them now if I can really trust them to seal the deal. And Turkish is tweeting and in live chats. And Toby's pina colada is not far. I can see it's coming. So I think you're wrong. I think a lot of people are starting to actually think that you can win it.
So
And
let me ask you
my
this
question
then,
is
why-
now, do you think you can win it? And is those question marks over Arteta, are they now evaporating for you? Are you gonna do a Turkish tweet?
Nah,
Do
I'm
you
not doing a
trust the
Turkish
process?
tweet. I'm not doing a Turkish tweet. That's for sure. But do you know what? Like, can we win the league? Yes, we can. Will we win the league? I still have my doubts. And what will put that into yes, we can, and I think we've got a great chance now is January. If we don't do nothing, we already saw what happens when you bring a couple of subs on against Brighton that are the likes of Holding and El Nini. It goes back to Arsenal looking vulnerable again. So that's the reasons why I would feel that we might not be able to do this in terms of keeping it and sustaining it. But if we go and get a couple of players in that I believe we need in the positions that we need to strengthen our midfield and our front three, then I think we have a great chance. There's rumours that Mudryk is probably going to happen. It's just a matter of how much they want. Obviously, in midfield, there's rumours, but we don't know what that is. João Felix is being touted around for a loan move. These kind of players would give us firepower up top and some strength in depth in midfield. Thomas Partey is the key one for me. My biggest concern is that El Neni is going to be the guy now to come in for when Partey's injured, and that just, I like El Neni. He's an honest player, but let's be fair. It's a massive drop-off, right? It's a massive drop-off. So I think that we are going to do business. I don't know what it's going to look like come the end of January. So I have more of an understanding there. It's the other teams, Matisse. They're just dropping off like flies. Like literally every weekend, we're getting dropped points by one of the teams that we thought were going to be in and around the top 4 race. Now, something's got to go drastically wrong for us not to get into the Champions League. I mean, that would just be a horrendously bad season from where we are now. So I think that's done. But it's
I'd be saying you should sack him again if that happens.
There we go. And I'd agree with you 100%. As for where I'm at with Arteta, who am I to sit there and say that I'm going to sit there and not hold my hands up and say that perhaps he's changing my opinion? I can't sit there and lie to you and say, wow, I still think this guy's a bum and we need to get rid of him when we're sitting 7 points clear at the top. Somebody asked me, I think it was James on AFTV, they said, like, what is it then? Because for you, Turkish judges, few of the others, you've all sort of said, you know, Troops, God, I'm done. I can't stand this guy, get him out type thing at one stage. And I think justifiably so at the time. I don't want to come 8th twice and 5th. I don't want to sit there and start bigging up the fact that we've come 5th as a progression season from 8th. That ain't Arsenal for me. That's not Arsenal me growing up. It might be for some of the young kids that have seen us floating around 4th and thinking that's a good season. But for me, I've always been about winning titles and I've wanted to try and get there. If this guy puts us in a title challenge, I can't sit there in the next season go, we didn't win us a title. I still think he should go. Because for me, that's what I wanted was a title challenge. Now, the biggest progression I've seen is not we signed Jesus now and look good. It's more than that. A lot of the work that he did off the field is now showing on the field because I'm starting to see the young implementation of players that are now together. There's a connect with the fan base. There's a style of play. The game a year almost to the day, a year yesterday, we lost to Man City at the Emirates and everyone thought that we might as well have beaten them because the way the Arsenal fans reacted. From that point onwards, I started to see a little bit of a different Arsenal. And if it wasn't for a few injuries to Thomas Partey and our fullbacks and the fact that we got let down in January by our board, and Arteta and Edu, I think we would have got top 4 and then we could have been a Champions League club, which to be fair is what I kind of felt we should have been at least bare minimum last season. Now that the fact that we've added a couple of players, we've looked to get in what I think has been some good talent. We've definitely kept the talent we needed. Everybody is wanting to play for that shirt. We've got a squad at the moment that looks very healthy. Add a few more in, and I think we've got a squad that's good enough for a title. At the moment, I think we're comfortably getting top 4, which, to be fair, a lot of people saw was our target. For me, it's always been try and win it. Every year, try and win it. If you don't win it, the aim has always got to be to win it for me. A lot of people disagree. They think 4th is a good season. Nope, not for me. I look at the way people are dropping points at the moment. 4th wouldn't be a good season. So that's where I'm at the moment, Matisse. If he can continue to improve what I believe has been an unbelievable start to the season, then, of course, I'm going to get on board with it and think that perhaps it's taken longer than I've wanted. 4 years is a long time for me anyway to wait for a title, seeing as I've waited 18 already. But I'm happy. I'm happy at the moment. Let's see
you're gonna say hold your hands up with Arteta?
I'm going to hold my hands up after January and say they haven't made the same mistakes again, because he made mistakes in January. In my opinion, I think that the pair of them should have gone, I need this, this, and this. If we're now in a title race, I'm going to look at Kroenke, Arteta, I'm going to look at them all and say, are you going to do anything now? Or are you just going to be happy to get into this Champions League that you've been so gagging for over the last 5-6 years? Or are you actually going to go and win a title, which is what we're supposed to be about? Because for me, I don't celebrate fourth. Yeah, I don't do that.
Shit.
I don't run around going, "Wee, fourth, 3 people have finished above us." I don't do that. Yeah, some of our fan base do.
Tobs,
they love it.
You might. I don't celebrate fourth, Tobs.
Yes, I don't celebrate.
No, I don't. I've never celebrated fourth. You can't find a clip. You can't find a video. Every year we've made top 4 on the final day. I've said cool, and I've been like, great. We're back in. We're back in the Champions League. Okay, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's not an achievement. I say it every single time.
It's not an achievement.
You don't get a trophy for it. You actually don't get a trophy for it.
True.
Well, I don't know, but that's
money,
money.
you get
Spurs
money,
fans celebrate it like a trophy.
You get a better chance of getting closer to a trophy with money spent and revenue and shit, but you ain't getting actual any silverware.
There are fans from probably Chelsea as well, and Arsenal, Spurs. Listen, West Ham would be doing cartwheels if they got top 4, crikey. But for me, it ain't about that. It ain't about that. For me, it's about winning trophies, and I want to see trophies. I've always said, depending on the position you're in, Arsenal have always wanted to win a trophy, and people say FA Cup or top 4. I've always said FA Cup. We're in a position now. We've been out of the Champions League for so long that we're going to need to get back in it at some stage. But when I look at things, I think personally, right at the moment, we need to be looking at a title. We've got an unbelievable opportunity, and I'd love to hear from these two, because I'm bigging up Matisse here. He's said, fair play. I think Arsenal might be in a title race. I don't think these two will say it, because I don't think they don't want to say it.
No,
I want to hear what their honest opinions about it. Now,
I'm not in the business. I'm not in the business of crowning teams as title challengers in like late December or early January. Normally I like to teams who have not been in it before, right? Normally I like to give it until maybe like game week, I don't know, like around 23 to 25, because then there's 13 games left. Then you're like, okay, we're 2/3 of the season gone. This is it, right? But what's alarming for me now is Arsenal have a 7-point lead at the top and have won 14. When you actually play it back, 14 out of 16 wins. And then when you look at the manner in which you're winning, it's like, if you can keep your players fit, I don't see this slowing down. So I'm now annoyingly getting to a stage where like I almost have to accept and eat humble pie that like you're definitely looking like you're going to be in a title race. Oh, I still want to wait and see before I sort of rubber stamp it, but I'm not really sure what's going to change between now, unless you get like a lot of injuries, unless like Partey falls down and Odegaard falls down and so on and so forth. Unless you get a lot of injuries and you don't make the necessary signings in January, for all intents and purposes, I do actually think you're going to be in a title race if you're not in one already.
It would be a dramatic fall off if we were sitting here in 1 month or a month and a half's time and saying Arsenal are not in a title race. Do you know what I mean? Like there would have to be a very dramatic fall off for Arsenal to get to the game week that you're talking about and not be at least within it. And if they're a couple points off City and they're second, they're still in the title race. So
100.
I can't sit here with a serious face and say to myself, yeah, Arsenal are not going to be actually where I'm worried about them actually being, especially because any team can pick up injuries, but Arsenal have not lost a game this season when Partey has played. That's the bare minimum. Simple as that. Whenever Partey is in that team, which is all the time, he plays and they win. And they've only drawn 1 against Southampton, and they've drawn 1. So they lost against Man United, and they actually didn't even probably deserve to lose to Man United. They just got hit on the break because Lokonga can't defend. So I'm at that point now where I am visibly and emotionally distressed. I'm very distressed, and I need someone to sort this shit out. So I'm going to ask you a different question, because Lawless, I can see Lawless ain't giving nobody no fucking credit for nothing.
I know. I'm saying, look, we might as well say
Saliba's a prick. Fuck Saka.
They're going to get injuries. I mean, but I feel like if we can look at it now, and like you said, 7-point lead, if we can say they're probably going to be in the title race, we might as well say they're in the title race.
They are.
We might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can say, even though, like, I agree with Tobs to a point, like, at this point, it still hasn't ramped up because they've got that cushion. We might as well say they're in it, at this point.
I think that's what's swaying me, right? The fact that Man City dropped points at home to Everton, and Arsenal then win
Yeah.
And then Man City dropped points away, no, at home before the World Cup to Brentford.
Yeah.
And Arsenal were able to capitalize, right?
Do you know what? I feel like
mentality shift.
It seems like, and that's what I'm saying,
Guardiola,
it seems
man.
like wherever teams are faltering, they're still managing to pick up points. And 7-point gap over Man City in January is big, bro. Like, and it's not saying that Man City can't turn that around. Of course they can turn that around, but it's significant. And Man City have a tough run coming up. So do Arsenal, but it's not inconceivable that Arsenal could potentially extend this lead to double figures. And if they extend this lead to double figures, then bruv, that is really scary. Like that's like shit.
I'm gonna start kicking.
You're looking at you actually might win this league, bro. And that's
we did see Liverpool bottle that, didn't we? Didn't they bottle like a double-figure lead over?
We
Man
bottled
City?
8. We bottled 8 points before. We were 8 points clear of United in 2001, and we bottled it. But you know that was a different Arsenal, to be fair. But I want to ask you a question though: are we finishing above all you three? Like that's a definite.
Yeah, done.
I think so. Guaranteed Spurs now. It's enough. I can't even pretend anymore. You're finishing above Spurs. I'll tell you that.
You said you three.
I tell you what.
You said you three like West Ham really needed to be brought.
Yeah, I'll stay calm.
We are not in that conversation. That was really only directed to Tobs because I don't know where we are right now. We're behind. I need to get back control of West London. Don't talk to me about the rest of London. You man handle your business in North. Do you know what I mean? Handle your business in North London.
It was more for Tobs, really.
I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
I don't know though, but if you never know.
I'm giving you the heads up now. You're gonna beat us in 2 weeks. I'll let you know.
Yeah, a lot of Tottenham fans are saying that. Abby said that to me.
I tell you what, boy, I feel like if you lose that because it's supposed to be form goes out the window. If you lose that North London derby at home.
If they go
could be
Tottenham and win,
bro. Did you not see what I said yesterday? I think we're going to lose to Palace, and then we're going to lose to Arsenal, and then we're going to lose to Man City, and they're going to sack Conte. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
Wow. They shouldn't. What do you mean they should? They shouldn't, but they will.
That should be sackable offence, mate.
I
know what you're saying. There's context behind it. No, there's context of the board, all of this stuff, but it ain't going to happen. Like Conte's checked out. He's saying the same shit, every time it goes wrong. Oh, we ain't going to get this. He come out actually this time. What looked a bit different. He was talking about the fans having too big expectations. The fans need to manage their expectations. Started to go in on the fans. That's never a good sign.
This is what he's like.
It's the beginning of the end, bro.
And you know what? Usually you get a trophy out of it to say, "Oh, this is my happy memory of Conte, Premier League, FA Cup." If you don't get shit from it, it's mad. But I want to ask one final question before we wrap up.
Yeah, I need to eat, man.
Yeah, I got to let you man go. It's been a mad one. Yeah, I have to ask you one final question because I have been conspiring against Arsenal publicly, so this is no shock to nobody. And Potts, you're gonna have to firm this. If you guys were managers, I need anybody. If anybody has any idea, if you guys were looking at this Arsenal team and you're watching their games, what has not been done to stop them or to try to nullify them or to beat them? Like, what are you watching in these games and thinking, why has nobody tried that? Because I was trying to do a tactical show with James and I can't find a weak point and it's pissing me off. There's no weak point. I went through the whole team, the starting 11, not the bench. I went through the team and I can't find the weak point.
Sit on Thomas Partey. Gas mask Thomas Partey. I don't think I've seen. Obviously, it's easier said than done because the guy is very press resistant and he's very combative, but I don't really think I've seen teams gas mask Thomas Partey. I think if you can put bodies around him and you congest the middle of the park and stop him from getting the ball into the final third, into the likes of Odegaard and stuff, I think you can take away a big part of Arsenal's weapon.
I've got something. The reason it hasn't happened yet is because he hasn't actually played that many games. And I love this guy, by the way. I love this guy. I think he's wicked. I love everything about him. But Zinchenko can be a weak link defensively. He can be. He can be got at. So he is so everywhere because he plays this inverted role. And he plays it very well, by the way. But he can be caught out. And we've had it against Palace the first game of the season. They just didn't take their chances. I think there was 3 chances they could have easily scored headers from, and Zinchenko all down that side. There's been a couple with him, so he's the one that I would probably target if I was there. I think Tobs is right. I think people have tried to sit on Partey, but our midfield has just been ridiculously good that they've just lost that battle. But for me, if you was to target a player or a side of Arsenal, I would go down that side, Zinchenko's side for me.
Yeah, I feel like with our game against Arsenal in that first half, we defensively was able to sort of stop them from really, causing us too many problems. Like for the first half. But what I looked at is the problem with us is we're really shit on the counter these days. We have no outlet. We had nothing to do. We just had to sit there and soak it up. So if you can actually be solid defensively but very effective, very rapid on the counter attack, there's a chance to catch them out. But it's difficult. It's a difficult.
We see it against United on the counter.
Leeds had them on the ropes as well in the second half.
We didn't have party.
Not like, because the thing is, Arsenal have a lot of press resistant players and also have a very aggressive press. But I feel like Leeds smothered Arsenal in the second half. They really, really took the game to Arsenal on every touch. And I feel like if you can match Arsenal's intensity, then that's which is easier said than done.
They're the youngest team.
It's easier said than done based on this season's evidence. But if you can match their intensity in a game, then you can get at them. You can. But as I said, easier said than done. It's not something that's doable like regularly this season, is it?
No. Do you now change your mind on Arteta? Like Lawless has said he's not going there yet. To be fair, Matisse and
I don't think you can look away from it, man. Like the guy has got you top of the league, winning 14 out of 16 off the back of a lot of stripes put back on his name last season. Like, okay, cool, he bottled it, but to be honest, he showed that like he was a better manager than I thought last season, and I think this season
he's learned a lot. He's learned a lot quickly,
bro. Yeah, like I can't.
I think where we ranked him in our heads mainly, which I had him as like and it's gone on AFTV and many times been brought back up mid-table. I had him as a mid-table manager. I can't pretend
that would be fair.
I can't pretend.
I feel like
I can't leave him there. He can't. So he's definitely gone way up in my estimations. Am I going to say that he's world class? Absolutely not. I'm not going to go over the top here because he starts to finish the job off. And even if he doesn't finish the job off, it's still a great season. But he definitely, I think from the moment he got rid of Aubameyang, I was like, okay, there might be something going on here because this guy is not pissing around. And his recruitment, a spot on recruitment so far. I'm going through the Arsenal team and I rate everyone. That's a problem from the get-go. So yeah.
It's one of those ones. I think like he should definitely go up. But to me, even if they win the league this season, right, I still want to look at him next season. Because you can look at it. No, because you can look at it like look at Claudio Ranieri. Look at Ranieri.
Nah.
Right? Look at Ranieri.
Ranieri, you have to give Ranieri respect as well.
No, but of course you give him respect. But I'm saying like if you call Arteta one of the elite coaches, like he's won the league, which is again, it's that is an accomplishment. Whoever you are, even Ranieri, that's an accomplishment. But to look at him as this guy that's going to be like
world class,
world class, season after season, right? Doing bits like they could win the league this season and finish outside the top 4 next season. That's conceivable because of how competitive the league is anyway, right? So I need to see next season, like, can he sustain it? If he can sustain it, then you have to say, yeah, he's one of the upper echelon managers right now. At the moment,
what would happen though, Lawless, is they'd say, so winning the FA Cup and the Premier League in 4 years is not, he still needs to do more. That's what fans will say. Because I'm with you in terms of, if you win a league, does that mean you're elite? Not always. It doesn't, to be fair. But I think that to do what he would have done
do it with Arsenal,
do it with an Arsenal team that consisted at the time of Mustafi and God knows who, and now 3-4 years later you're competing for a title. Wow, that is fair play, man. Fair play. You
look at Di Matteo though, won the Champions League.
Yeah, but Champions League's knockout competition.
That's different.
It's different.
But still, it's the Champions League. Arsenal.
It's different. It's still
Avram Grant was a penalty kick away from winning the Champions League. Do you know what I mean?
And by the way, Matteo came in halfway. He came in with Napoli, isn't it? So he wasn't even the whole thing.
It's like saying, Arsenal are as good as Di Matteo because he won the Champions League and Wenger didn't.
Yeah, I think.
No, but that's what I'm saying is just because they've got this trophy,
that doesn't for me make him one of the world's best. I agree with you 100%.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You got to do it over a long period. But if he wins it, if he wins it,
and keeps
what an
Arsenal,
achievement.
say he wins it and Arsenal challenge next season, or up thereabouts.
I'm not. Do you know what? Yeah, I've disrespected him so much. Yeah, I'm not even gonna ask him to do that. If he wins the fucking league, I'm done. I shut up because I don't need him in this league. How competitive
Everyone
it is.
has to.
I don't even need him to do it again. If he does
But
it,
is it that competitive this season, Matisse? Though, can we try?
No, we're not doing
Come
that.
on.
No.
Lawless, I knew you were gonna come with something mad. I could smell it. You were
because
gonna
I'm
say
not
something
having
crazy.
it because you lot, you Sky 6 fans,
Listen,
when Leicester won the league, it's a shit league. It's a shit league.
no one said that.
It was a
Who
shit
said
league.
that? You give
They
Leicester
deserve to win it.
flowers.
They deserve to win
You
it.
give
Nah.
bro. Whoever
Everybody
wins
that wins the league
whoever-
deserves to win it. I'm sorry. I
Exactly.
don't care how
Anybody
many
who-
people dropped off. I don't care how
don't
many
give a damn.
people.
And
I
by
don't
the
care.
It's
I
the
don't
narrative
care.
that's out there.
I'm not. No, when Leicester win the league, I think everybody was delighted. So I would never
I
shit
agree.
on Leicester.
They had a helping hand from the rest of the teams, but yeah, they deserve to win it.
That's what I'm
Do you know
saying.
what?
That's a narrative that
If you put together the consistency to win a league, you deserve it. And if Arsenal,
I agree.
if
I agree
Arsenal
with
win
that.
the league, it's
Yeah.
because they have been the most consistent team, and
But
they've
I
been
agree.
brilliant to
man.
watch. They've been brilliant to watch. They've been consistent. They play good football. They've scored goals. There is nothing that you can say if they win the league to try and diminish
Okay,
it.
so there's
And,
no
and the
such-
reason
so
why
we
it's so
agree
one-sided.
there's no
One
such
sec.
thing as a shit
The
league, then.
reason why it's so one-sided is because they've made it one-sided. They've dropped points twice this season. That is mad. So they're the ones that have made it like that. They're in a night at the moment. They are doing a 90 point season, 95. That's what.
Would
that's
you
what the
usually
form is.
expect Liverpool and Man City to drop this many points?
Bro, they are. You can't do this, Lawless, because
I'm not saying that. No, but what I'm saying is,
Lawless. They are on course at the moment to do a 90-something point season. Once you're doing that, once you're doing that, that's it. That's the end of it.
I'm not saying. I'm just putting it out there because you lot say that there's shit leagues.
But let's wrap up.
Why do we even need to waste time?
Might as well be
Lawless,
Celtic.
Lawless, it's not me. I tried to wrap this. Toby, let them know
Might
to
as well
find
be
you. Man.
Celtic.
Pleasure to have you on again.
Lawless, might as well be Celtic, mate.
Toby, let them know to find you, bro.
Tapping Tobs on all socials. Don't worry out. Yeah.
There you go, guys. Make sure you go subscribe to Tapping Tobs. I see the content's back. He did a review of the last game, so he's back now. Lawless, let them know where to find you, bro.
West Ham Fan TV at the Lawless. Come join us for the watch along against Leeds. I know Tobs popped his head in there, the clown. You know what I mean? He probably, if we're winning, you won't see him. You know what I mean? He popped his head in the comments. Come and join us. Jump in the comments, and we'll have a laugh. We'll have some fun. Even if West Ham is shit, it's just depressing right now. So hopefully we win.
Potts, let them know where to find you. Pleasure.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Happy New Year. At Dan Arsenal 87 on all social media platforms and at Football's 12th Man on YouTube. Come and join us. I'm on the road to 7K, and you'll see some lovely faces that you recognize from this show on that channel as well. Cheers.
There you go. Guys, make sure you subscribe to everyone. Links in description as always. It's been a blockbuster one. Yeah, Newcastle, handle your business, man. In a bit, people. Peace.